So, I want you to imagine a country, a place where the government gives you free gas, free water, free electricity, but almost everyone wants to leave. A country filled with golden statues in these gleaming marble cities, but at the same time, it's one of the most secretive and restrictive places on the entire planet. Well, that place is Turkmenistan, the land of paradoxes, and we are about to dive deep into what makes it tick.
First things first, to really get a handle on Turkmenistan, you have to understand just how isolated it is. I mean, people often call it the North Korea of Central Asia. That's because it's a nation that operates under this incredibly tight, closed system, pretty much hidden away from the rest of the world.
And this gets us right to the heart of the matter, the central question that defines the whole country. How can a place give its people so much for free, yet at the same time, control their lives so completely? It's a real puzzle, and it's absolutely fascinating.
And the contradictions, they are just everywhere. On one hand, you've got this incredible social safety net. But on the other, you have these bizarre rules, like discouraging beards in a country that's majority Muslim. It's this land of massive, flashy wealth with golden statues everywhere, but personal freedom is almost non-existent. Okay, so let's start with the image that Turkmenistan wants the world to see. This pristine, almost dream-like utopia, built almost entirely out of gleaming white marble. And I'm not exaggerating, the capital city, Ashgabat, literally holds a Guinness World Record for having the highest concentration of white marble-clad buildings anywhere on Earth. We're talking more than 550 buildings, all covered in this beautiful marble that's imported all the way from Italy.
You know, this description really nails it. The whole city is designed to just leave you in awe. It's a completely manufactured spectacle. You just have to picture these wide, spotless boulevards, all lit up at night with the light reflecting off all that polished stone. It truly looks like a city built to impress.
And it's not just about the pretty buildings. The state provides a ton for its citizens. Education is free, healthcare is free, gas, water, electricity, so cheap they might as well be free. And get this. Every single citizen gets an allowance of 122 liters of free gasoline every month. I mean, on paper, that sounds like an unbelievable deal, right?
But you knew there was a but coming. Behind that glittering marble facade, there's a totally different reality. One that's built on extreme government control and these really intense personality cults.
And this is where you see the paradox of the city itself. You have this magnificent, futuristic architecture, but the streets, they're often completely, eerily empty. Why? Because public gatherings and even just movement are super strictly controlled. The government wants to maintain this image of perfect order, so you end up with a city that was built for people, but where you rarely see people actually enjoying it. Now, this obsession with control gets into some really peculiar details. It's all rooted in this idea that the color white brings good fortune. And this isn't just, a cultural preference, it's pretty much state policy. And here's what that leads to. The government has actually banned all non-white cars from the capital city. So if you live in Ashgabat and you own a black car, or a red one, or a blue one, you're out of luck. It has to be white. It's probably one of the most famous examples of the state's very eccentric form of control. And this kind of absolute power, it's nothing new there. The first president, a guy named Myazov, built a massive golden statue of himself that was engineered to rotate so it would always be facing the sun. His successor, Berdimuhamedov, he's the one who banned colored cars, and he also commissioned a giant golden statue of his favorite dog, the Alabai Shepherd. A golden dog statue. All right, so let's step away from the politics and the marble for a minute, because beyond all that, Turkmenistan is also a land of some incredible, totally unique natural and cultural wonders. Okay, first up is something called the Darvaza Gas Crater, but everyone knows it by its much cooler name, the Door to Hell. This isn't some natural volcano. It is a giant, fiery pit burning in the middle of the desert that was accidentally created by Soviet engineers, and it has been on fire for more than 50 years. The story of how it was made is just wild. So back in 1971, Soviet geologists were out there drilling for natural gas. Well, the ground just gave way beneath them, creating this 70-meter-wide crater that started spewing toxic methane gas. So to get rid of the gas, they decided to light it on fire. They figured, oh, it'll burn out in a few days. They were very wrong. It's still burning today. Now for the gold part. Meet the Agalteke horse, a true national treasure. These horses are world famous for their incredible metallic sheen. They literally look like they're made of gold.
They're also known for their speed and endurance, and they can run up to 70 kilometers per hour. They're so important, so revered, that they're on the money, they're on stamps, and they even have their own national holiday. So you've got to be wondering, how does a country like this even exist? How can it possibly afford the free utilities, the marble cities, the giant golden statues? Well, the answer lies deep underground in its incredible natural wealth. The answer, in 2 words, is natural gas. Turkmenistan is sitting on one of the biggest reserves of natural gas in the entire world. And that one resource completely bankrolls the country. All that money from gas and oil sales, that's what funds everything, from the social benefits to the wacky construction projects. And that wealth is also what gives the government its power. It lets them control every part of life without ever really needing to tax its own citizens. So who are the people living in this very unique nation? Well, with a population of just over 6 million, the huge majority are ethnic Turkmen. But you also have smaller communities of Uzbeks, Russians, and Kazakhs, which kind of gives you a snapshot of the region's really complex history.
And that history is long, and it's pretty fascinating. You know, Turkmenistan was once a major hub on the ancient Silk Road. Then it was taken over by the Russian Empire. Later, it became a republic inside the Soviet Union. And then finally, in 1991, it got its independence when the USSR fell. This whole journey, from a cultural crossroads to a tightly controlled Soviet state, it really helps you understand how its modern identity was forged. Which brings us right back to where we started. Turkmenistan is such a compelling case study. It really forces you to ask a tough question. When a government gives its citizens everything they need to live a secure life, what's the trade-off? What is the true cost of living under that kind of absolute control? It's definitely something worth thinking about.